Anyone who drives our roads here in Michigan knows that they are really bad. A task force says the state needs $4 billion more just to maintain our infrastructure here. How should Michigan pay to fix roads, bridges, and water systems?
So, when I was in the legislature, I was negotiating with the governor and Republicans to put a long-term road fix, to do it, to finally get it done. And I took a lot of tough votes during that time. I was the Senate Democratic leader, and my colleague on the other side of the aisle, Randy Richardville, we put up votes to get, that was a real fix. It was in perpetuity, and it actually was big enough to solve the problem. The governor could not get the House of Representatives to even take that vote. And so it failed. And then they cobbled together that ridiculous proposal that everyone voted down because it did too many things. It touched too many pieces of the budget. And the people didn't trust that the money was actually going to go where it needed to go. That's why I've led with an infrastructure package, because everywhere I go, people tell me the cost of fixing their car because the state government's not getting the roads fixed. The average Michigander spending like $580 a year to fix their car. The average Detroiter, I think it's like $860 a year to fix their car because of our roads are so bad. So it's not a Republican or a Democratic issue. We're all paying for lack of leadership on this front. So my road package is not just about roads. It does these other pieces of critical infrastructure, but I would fund it through perhaps some of these mechanisms that I've cast votes on during my time in the legislature. My commitment is that there will be $2 billion built into the budget next year if I win this election that will draw down $1 billion from the federal government and put us in a position to throw shovels in the ground right away and start fixing the problem. Now, I've run a lot of commercials about the roads, and I've got a tagline that apparently cut through some of the noise because people repeat it to me all the time. But I didn't create that. It is reflective of the frustration that people in our state have. The roads are the most obvious failure of state government, and that's how people talk about them, and I think it shows why it's so important that we fix it.
You mentioned those mechanisms that you suggested in the legislature. For people who maybe weren't watching that at the time, could you talk a little bit about what those mechanisms are?
So the governor proposed all sorts of user fees, and those were all pieces of it. The legislature could look very different next year. The environment could be very different next year. So that's why I think it's important to tell you what my commitment is, but all the different pieces of it may change based on how the environment changes.